What up, what up? What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. I hope everybody's doing really well. I want to say thank you for joining me here for another quick market update on my YouTube channel, Cheds Trading. I do try to stream twice a week, right around 10 a.m. Tuesday, Friday night. Just to let you know, I published 4 books, and my newest book, The Trading Journal, is out now. It's available on Amazon. The reviews are in. I'll go over some stuff about that in a minute. And because I've got the new book out, my third book is free. I'm putting out a free version. Check that out. Now, if you're just getting started and you're trying to figure out how to use technical analysis, make sure you've watched the Masterclass Technical Analysis Tutorial playlist. This is really where you want to get started to understand the basics of classical charting and Japanese candlestick theory. I teach both. I am professionally trained, and I try to put out a lot of good free content for you folks. Probably know me from Twitter, at Big Cheds, and of course YouTube, and of course Bitcoin Live, where I do that twice a week. Full market report every Wednesday and Sunday night with the best team in the world that studies crypto. If you're looking for an exchange, check out BingX, my favorite exchange. You'll see the link there in the description. Hope everybody's doing well. How's it going, folks? If you can hear me, let me know. If you have any questions, this is a good time. Take the opportunity to type a few words in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and you can help me make this video better with some good questions. So that's the deal. That's why we're here. Thank you everybody for showing up. I'll talk briefly about hold on a second. Do your books focus on TA, says Influence Snaps? Yes. So, well, the first book, The Cancer Memoir, does not. It's my battle with cancer. I was a patient and a caregiver. That's completely free. And then Trading Wisdom, yeah. I mean, it's 1/3 technical analysis, 1/3 risk management, 1/3 trading psychology. So this is very heavy on TA. The Trading Quotes book has a little bit of TA, but definitely the Trading Journal has a lot of TA in it. For example, I just tweeted out a snippet from the Trading Journal with the idea, for example, I go over like different trading theses, like a thesis, why are you entering the trade? And I use the example of a spring. It's a fake out, a false breakdown, and a recapture of support. And you talk about the stop loss. Here's the stop loss for the spring. And then essentially, this is like a sample Trading Journal entry where you're filling out your trade with that spring trade idea. So the fourth book has a lot of TA, and definitely. I mean, I try to teach professional TA, and I try to do most of it for free. That was a great question. Invest says, I just bought the book. Thank you. Let me know. I assume you're talking about my newest book. I don't know if it's Trading Wisdom or Trading Wisdom Part 2, but I hope you enjoyed the book, and I would encourage you to fill out an honest review and let me know what you think. So what's going on with Bitcoin? It's pretty strong. I mean, there's some really, really low time frame evidence of a reversal, but that's 4 hour at best. I'll start small and work up. 4 hour, you have some evidence of an upthrust, right? Breaking out above the December, mid-December and late January peak, right around 107K. Now we're back below it. And you could view this 4 hour as an underside test. However, it's still amidst or in the middle of a rising MA200 environment here in the 4 hour. It's still an uptrend. You still should be careful trying to play an upthrust there. If you look at the weekly chart, it's just straight up bullish. It looks beautiful. Price above the rising MA200. We have our first inside bar, which is interesting. And an inside bar is when the entire candle is inside the range of the prior candle, and not to be confused with like an engulfing, right? An engulfing is when the candle body is bigger than the prior candle. That's a Japanese candlestick theory. Classical charting is an inside bar, where the entire range at the wick and the body is inside. And this reflects consolidation. So we're beginning some weekly consolidation. You want to view consolidation as bullish because trends tend to continue. You need to consolidate until you go higher. And it's hard to draw a bear case here, given the price above the rising EMA 8, EMA meaning exponential moving average, more price sensitive than a simple moving average. The most recent candle has more price weighting than the prior candle. Folks, while I'm doing this, get your questions ready, your chart requests, whatever you'd like me to talk about. So we're looking to see if we get a deeper dip. All right, we're looking to see if we get a deeper dip, maybe 96K range, keeping an eye on 88.5 in the future, but there's really no real signs of weakness quite yet. The trend is strong. We're looking at Ethereum, couple cracks here at 2,700. As you know, long since the 2150 break, 2150 recapture. The importance of this high time frame level, high time frame pivot. Pivot meaning a price level by which, if it's gained or lost, would suggest a change in momentum, a major change in momentum. So long from 2150 recapture of the weekly 200, but the daily chart is a little bit more muddled, a little bit less clear picture on the daily. We have several cracks at 2700, even an upthrust, a false bull break here locally. Locally meaning the most recent price action, and upthrust meaning a break of resistance and a failure to hold. It's really the opposite of a spring, which I just showed you from the Trading Journal book. And it's taken another crack here. Higher lows with a push into resistance. You could draw an ascending triangle. You don't necessarily need to. I think you just kind of sit back on Ethereum and play the major levels, 2,700 and 2,100 below. We're looking at SOL. Decent response here on the throwback to the 140, 150 range thus far. Beginnings of a potential tower bottom. Big move down, big bodies, several small bodies, and a move up. So we are seeing a very nice initial price response on the throwback, which means a bullish retest from above of that 150 range. You see the price base here. You see with Solana the lower low sweep, recapture, peak of the base, the break, the throwback, and now another throwback. And it's stair-stepping nicely. I would continue to play the major support levels and the overhead level. This is kind of just a real brief overview of those three market participants. Let's jump into the chat room. And again, thank you for being here. If you can hear my voice, I'd love to hear your voice, your thoughts, your comments. Just type a message in the chat. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. And take this opportunity. What's up, Sonny? Yanez, Slim, Anonymous, Cliff. What's up, brother? Jimmy, and Sleepy Shaman. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's having a good week so far. All right. So Cliff says, hola. What's up, Ola? What's up, Cliff? ¿Cómo estás, señor? ¿Cómo estás ustedes? Okay. Somebody asked, Cheds, is SUI weekly and daily a cup and handle? It's an interesting question. Is it a cup and a handle? Now, in general, the names don't really give you much. It's a question of price structure. I'm curious to see how you'd be drawing a cup and handle. I don't quite see that on the weekly. I don't really see a pattern here. Certainly limited history, right? Binance here. But what's the cup and handle? Normally a cup and handle, which is a continuation pattern. And we can actually see a cup and handle in Bitcoin weekly. Let's start there. So this cup and handle, all right? Here's your cup and here's your handle. Consolidation after breaking the base of a well-defined base. Here on SUI, I don't really see how to do that. I don't really see how to do that. Had the price reached maybe around $5 and then consolidated, perhaps, but we really just have a lower high. You have a potential for a tightening range, an equilibrium. We'll see which way it breaks. I don't see a cup and handle. I don't see how to draw one, number one. Number two, it's not that important to label a pattern. What's important is to look and see, is there price structure that I can use for a trade? Is there price structure that I can use to structure my risk? You see here a very well-defined support resistance level right around $2. You see the peak, paused here again, broke out, retest, and held. Given that price response, this is an incredibly important level going forward. I don't see a cup and handle. I'm not quite sure how you came to that conclusion, but it was a good question, and thank you. E4404, can you check out the Tau chart? Sure. And folks, by the way, I've been gone. I've been fishing. I've been out of town. And I haven't really done any YouTube updates while I was gone, but I'll be back again on Friday. I try to do these twice a week. And a big thank you to you folks who do continue to show up. Your support means a lot to me. The question was Tau USD. Let's take a look at this one. I have Tau actually right here. I like Tau. This is a bullish. Oh, it's not technically bullish because of the flat 200, but it's got some momentum, descending supply trend break, lower high break, and a local throwback and response from 370. The question is, can you check out the chart? I like the chart, but I definitely want to see it hold, 360 to 370 range. That's going to be critical for the continuing building demand as the price is pushing up and attempting to break through the major overhead level right around 490 to 500. So that's going to be critically important. It's a catch-up play. It's trying to reverse. It has the first step, one level filter, second level filter, lower high break, and now doing a throwback. It's attempting to stair step. Let's see here. Hype. Yeah, let's take a look at Hype. Hype has been one of the more interesting charts. It's not a ton of history, but this is a key market player right now. Generally with technical analysis, you need, not generally, pretty much you always need history. The whole idea of TA or technical analysis is to identify a trend, and then you can take advantage of moves against the trend. If you want to go long, you want an uptrend to dip. If you want to go short, you want a downtrend to rip or to bounce. And so, TA and something like Hype is a little bit limited given its lack of history, but you see a very well-defined price base, lower low sweep, bounce to the peak of the range, and a breakout. And it's consolidating here pretty nicely. I don't know what you would do with it per se. You could play the local breakout. That's fine. Given the limited price history, a little bit risky. You could play the local breakout. I, as a trader, again, I'm not a fundamental analyst. I don't think of these as projects or anything real. These are things I can trade. So I would want to see this dropping back to around like 26, 27 to take a long position. You can play the local break here. We'll see if it punches right through. I think that's reasonable, but for me and to my style, I'd rather see a dip, a drop back into the demand range here. Did I see what happened with DEXE, another rug? Yeah. Oof. There it is. So here's the thing. You kind of could see this coming. And if you've been, if you're at Bitcoin Live, thank you, of course. I really appreciate you. I've been talking about this as looking like it's about to break down. You have the lower high structure with these flat lows and these kind of weaker bounces into that descending supply trend. I'm not surprised to see this breaking down. Does look like a rug. It had a lot of potential as a chart, but it really should have held higher, 1350. It really should have held here around 1700. And this was a first real warning sign. And this was generally a descending triangle type of structure. I'm really not that surprised to see it break down. We'll see if it can find some footing here in the kind of high sevens range. Let's see. Phil, sure. I haven't looked at Filecoin or Filicone in a while. I hope Filicone's doing well. He's got me blocked. That's okay. Let's look at Filecoin. Yeah, this is a bad chart. This is a bad chart. I really honestly, and by the way, when you ask for a request, I'm just going to tell you what I think. I would delete this from your watch list. There's no reason to be watching this. This is a terrible coin. Very, very weak. It's kind of a controlled downtrend, almost definitely going lower. I hate it in terms because I like both charts. This is a terrible chart. I would quite literally delete this from your watch list and go play something else. Market hates it, so I do. And that's my strategy. I'm not smarter than the market. If news is important, if partnerships, if tweets, if announcements are important, we're going to see that reflected in the price. And the market says that this sucks, so it sucks. Avoid it. All right. What's up, Granite Guy? Hey, Cheds, how would you suggest is the best way to monitor the weekly Bitcoin RSI bearish divergence? Do we have bearish divergence on the weekly, on BTC Weekly? Let's take a look. This is a good question. Now, as a general principle, all right, I recommend you do not use RSI for regular divergence, which is a reversal divergence, okay? You're going to want to use RSI for hidden divergence, okay, which is continuation divergence. And this is very clearly explained in my Masterclass technical analysis tutorial playlist. I made this for you to make your life easier and my life easier. It's a great intro to trading. There's even an advanced webinar. I plan on recording another one this year. I got a lot of stuff, but I'd like to record another one. So you want to use RSI for hidden divergence. It doesn't work as well for regular divergence as a bounded oscillator. So we technically do have a single divergence. Where remember, when you're calculating divergence, you use the candle body, not the wick. Okay, you draw close to close, and yeah, you have a lower low, you have a lower high in RSI. That's fine, but unless the on-balance volume confirms the weakness, you really have nothing to worry about, right? The on-balance volume is evidence of accumulation or evidence of distribution. See, the thing with RSI, look at what happened here. How did your bearish divergence didn't really do well here for you? So or even the point is the RSI, when the RSI goes lower, okay, and the price retains gains, that's a good thing, because that means you have room now to run. You have room to accelerate. So generally, you want to be using RSI for hidden divergence with lower lows and using it that way. So I would, at this moment, I would ignore any kind of regular RSI bearish divergence. I would wait and see if we get weakness in the on-balance volume, and I would personally just do it that way. I do not use the log chart. I do use a log chart. Let me see. Sometimes it's turned off by mistake. Logarithmic works better for crypto in general, due to the kind of the large percentage type of moves. I have tweeted out a few times. There's a very good explainer from my colleague Axel Kaibar. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. He has it on Twitter about exactly when to use both and his thoughts on that. And he is one of the guys who actually writes the classical charting material at CMT, right? The CMT Association. I'm only level 1. He's like, one of their main guys. So he's got a really good explainer on that. You can look in its feed to find that. I definitely do like use log for crypto because it gives you a better sense of the percentage moves. Freshwater fishing, I caught a lot. That's what I like to do. Caught a lot of panfish and just a lot of nice fish, pickerel and everything. Some bass too. And it was just a nice time freshwater fishing, to answer your question, Terp. All right. Hey, can you look at SPX? Sure. What's up, major protagonist? Let's take a look at the SPX. All right, interesting. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Look at this kind of local push here, kind of a local ascending triangle type of look. A potential lower high here, now being challenged with the push into it. Hold in the gap zone. Hold on the at the March highs. I mean, it's an uptrend on the daily. Let's look at the weekly. It's an uptrend in the weekly. SPX looks really good. You had a pretty solid reset here. Push back towards the weekly MA200. If you're buying anywhere near the weekly MA200 on the SPX, you've done really well, right? Going back 15 years now. Okay, so trends tend to continue, and that's the point, right? Why you want to position yourself to take advantage of a dip in an uptrend and not to panic. People are really panicking around here, but as the price started to sniff out the MA200, you're thinking to yourself, okay, maybe there's some potential here for a bounce. SPX looks really good. Get your questions going, folks. I will wrap up the video when I run out of questions. This is your opportunity to ask me to take a look at a chart or ask me some type of a nuanced trading question. I'll try my best to make it simple. And that's what I try to do on my YouTube, of course, and on my Twitter account. I try to take professional, academic, TA, and I try to make it a little bit more simple for you. So you're going to want to, take advantage of all that great stuff. You're welcome for the response. All right, let's see here. Let's look at Fetch. I haven't looked at Fetch in a while. Take a look at Fetch. Fetch AI. All right. Not terrible. Let's go daily here. Interesting. Okay. All right. So the recapture of 75.80 cents is critical here. You see how the bulls, the price paused here, December of 2023. After that very nice move, bulls stepped in again bull stepped in again, but they lost that level. This is a big momentum loss for the trend in the midst of the falling MA200, in the midst of, we're in a falling channel here. But you have some decent local, meaning recent action, and the price being back up above 75, 80 cents is a very important step. This is what you want to see hold for any type of attempt to regain that weekly uptrend. If the price is able to bounce up into that 120 range, I would be careful. There might be a profit taking spot for people who are loading down here lower for a trade. You're welcome for the response. Let's see. I'll take a look at DOT. Okay. And by the way, folks, thank you for hanging out. DOT is another bad chart. It's flat. It's at least not going down, but there's not a lot of momentum here, and the weekly chart is a downtrend. It's a confirmed downtrend. How do I know? Well, SMA 200, or simple moving average, which means equally weighted, 200, which means each of the last two candles are equally weighted. Price below a falling SMA 200 is a downtrend in classical charting. Daily chart is essentially flat, not much of a trend, but this is weak. I don't know. This is kind of a garbage chart. It's been historically a very bad chart, and bounces have been opportunities for shorting. So if you want to watch this to see if there's a short opportunity that comes up, I think that's reasonable. But I would not be thinking about this as a long. Like if you got to bounce into like the high 6 range, it could set up for a very nice short. But I generally don't like the chart. Really, really don't like the chart. Let's see. Travis, I'm sorry, any advice for trading in a restricted region? It's really up to you how, something like BingX, other exchanges are available in some places, not available in others. I think you'll have to kind of puzzle through that. I know there are VPNs and ways to do things, but it's really up to you to kind of, work with what's available. Hopefully regulations are cleared up and it's easier for people to trade. I think people should be able to trade gambling. For example, in the United States, you can gamble now in like every state, but like you can't trade certain things, and online poker is restricted in some ways. It's kind of ridiculous. So hopefully those things will clear themselves up. Okay. Jack, I already talked about the bearish divergence in the RSI weekly. It's not to be worried about. I would go back and review the video when I post this here in a minute. It's a single regular divergence. OBV confirms the trend. You want to use RSI for hidden divergence, not regular divergence. You can pretty much ignore. You're best off, first of all, you're best off just not using RSI for divergence, like point blank. It's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Okay, but just go watch the beginning of the video. I spent a bunch of time already talking on that. Tomek, what's up, Tomek? Chad, do you see some range forming 112 to 103K similar to the 91 to 108K range? It's an interesting question. Similar to the 91. Oh, do you mean this? Okay, so the question, if I understand the question, and I thank you for it, this range here, do I see us doing something like that? I mean, it's quite possible. It would make sense because of the inside bar on the weekly, which hints at consolidation, and it's much more gentle than this outside bar here. Outside bar, bear engulfing outside bar on the weekly at the end of December. So sure, it's hard to predict exactly the texture of what the consolidation will look like. I think really all you can do is set yourself up to buy dips at well-defined price levels, right? For me, that'll be right around 96K, certainly 88.5. It may seem like there's no chance it's ever going to get there, but I actually already have a couple low ball bids set in this price range, right? Because I wouldn't want to miss a sweep. So you want to set yourself up to buy dips at well-defined price levels. You can even use 103K if you want. For me, I think I'd rather see a little bit of a deeper dip. It's hard to predict out exactly how the price will consolidate. All you can really do is orient yourself with the trend. Orient yourself to be trading with the trend. Here it's the blue line, which is a simple SMA 200 in classical charting. Okay. Let's see. Any comments on INJ short? That short's been closed out. I did pretty well on that. I got about half of my position in profit. The rest was stopped out. I'm no longer in this short, okay? Because the price, we took the short and I put it out on Twitter right here. Very nice short. Very solid profit. Did not make it all the way to my measured move, but trailing stop loss and some initial profit taking did pretty well. It bounced. All stop losses were triggered. So there's no short. I don't have a short in play. If you had taken another one, right, it would be really kind of up to you in terms of how you defined that trade idea. But there's absolutely no way you should still be holding a short from this trade triggered here, given how the price responded, recapturing and chopping through this level. It would have been way underwater and potentially got liquidated even. So in terms of the chart itself, it is putting in higher lows. That is good. If you want to see a reversal, you want to see for sure the price hold around 1150. I'm just not a fan of it overall because it is a downtrend. It's priced below a falling MA200. All right. These are great questions. It's been a wonderful group here today. We'll see if there's a couple more to wrap up. Just to remind everyone, and then I'll take a couple more questions. This is part of the quick market update series. I try to do this twice a week, Tuesday, Friday. If I'm traveling or on vacation or I'm just not feeling it, I'm not going to do it. But I really try to put out as much free content as possible. And I love when you folks show up and ask questions. It will go into this playlist. You can go back and watch old videos. Even though the prices has changed, the wisdom is timeless. If you're just getting started with TA, or even if you're in the middle of your journey, watch this Masterclass series. It's going to teach you classical charting and Japanese candlestick theory. And of course, my fourth book, The Trading Journal, is out. And the reviews are in. It's doing really well. So far, people are enjoying it. I'm super proud of this book. Why you should use a trading journal, how to fill one out. I even tweeted out just a sample from the book today about the trading thesis. I gave an example like a spring is one of the trading ideas, how to define your stop loss, and an example of like the first half of a trading journal entry, something you would fill out as you're entering the trade. And then there's more to fill out, obviously, as things go on. But since I've got that new book out, I'm making my other books free, right? I've already got free versions of my first two books. So you can check out the Trading Quotes playlist. I'll do another video soon. So far, I've got weeks 1 through 8. I will eventually do the entire book for free. And just as a reminder, Bitcoin Live, I do a twice a week full market report. Best team in the world that studies crypto, and I do it every Wednesday, Sunday night. I have not missed that report in over 6 years. So I'm really dedicated to Bitcoin Live. I encourage you to check that out. And of course, if you're looking for an exchange, check out BingX. Link in the description. All right, folks, now that's out of the way. The question, let's see. Cheds, I mentioned a while ago having a firstborn. Congratulations. It's been 3 months now, and I want to thank you for all the education you provided. Wow. It's allowed my family to live healthy and wonderfully. Thank you. Wow. What a comment. That's awesome. Wow. Thank you, man. That's what a wonderful thing to say. And congratulations to you on this journey. What a wonderful time. And I try to help, and it really warms my heart that there are people out there who are listening and who it can help. I try to take the complicated and the academic, and I try to make it more simple for you. So thank you so much. And congratulations again. What are your thoughts on Ethereum versus Bitcoin? It's a good question. It's a downtrend, and I'm going to continue to be skeptical. Sorry for that big breath there into the microphone. I'm going to continue to be skeptical on Ethereum versus Bitcoin until we get some more strength. We've seen several attempts at reversals that have failed here. It's a pretty well-described downtrend. For me, I'm going to want to see it above 032, 033. For me to think that trend is reversing. And if and when that happens, I'm going to get more bearish on Bitcoin because essentially, in order for Ethereum to outperform against Bitcoin, it most of the time is when Bitcoin is going to start a longer consolidation. So it's had some juice and some mojo, but I'm still skeptical on Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin until I see more evidence. And so that's just, that's just how I'm going to play it. XRP was requested. This is an uptrend. Although it's an unconfirmed uptrend, it's priced below a rising daily MA200. It's kind of grinding higher, and you want to see it hold around 205, 210. I still generally do like the chart. I'd say the chart generally is still quite bullish, and I'd rather be a bull than be a bear. So how long, Glenn says, great question, folks. Glenn says, how long do you expect this bull run to go on? Do you look at time frame or price? How long? I don't really have a time frame. I think you can probably do that. I'm not so much of a time frame like a cycles trader like my colleague, my colleague Bob Lucas, who's, he teaches cycle theory. I don't generally think that way. I try to stay ear to the ground. I try to stay connected to the price, trading level to level, and looking for signs of weakening and strengthening trend, just kind of based on price versus, the key levels, and observing moving averages and how the moving averages are fanned out, and just kind of taking what the price gives me in terms of clues. So Glenn, I don't necessarily have a time frame that I have in mind, but that was a great question. So folks, thank you. I'm going to be back on Friday. I'll do another one of these streams here on Friday. I could do more, but they take a lot out of me, a lot of mojo. I like to give you some good energy. And so when I'm not doing my videos, make sure you watch everything I have available here for you on YouTube and on Twitter, of course. And I hope you all have a great day. And thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out here with me. I really appreciate it. Let's finish up with Church of Eight Wheels. And thank you again, everybody. Really appreciate you showing up. Hope you keep coming back. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Big Cheds out.